So 3 talks. The first one, Alok Gupta. Alok is a professor at University of Minnesota who's done work on a lot of topics. Auctions was a big area for him back in the day. Lately, a lot of focus on human-AI collaboration, and so he's going to present a paper on that. Our next speaker after Alok is Michael Jacobides, and Michael is a professor at the London Business School, right? And Michael has been very active the last 2 days, has asked some very tough questions, a lot of provocations. So I'm sure we'll all return the favor to him today as well. And then after Michael, it'll be Anjana. Anjana is a professor at Michigan State. She, again, back in the day, has done a lot of interesting work on social media, social networks, and lately a lot of focus on responsible AI and AI in creative industries. And she's going to present one of the papers on AI and creative work. So those are the 3 papers. With that, I'll turn it over to Alok, and then Michael and Anjana will just proceed right after.
Thank you, Karthik. So I'm really thankful that I'm starting and not talking after Michael and Anjana. So those of you who have paid attention might see that there is slight change in the title, and that's just to, after I realized that this paper was put in plenary session, I thought maybe I should talk about something a little broader. So I'm going to not just focus on one paper, but sort of give you some insights from how this particular idea of role of AI in design of future work, how did we come up with that idea? So let me, and again, Hemant, I'm going to try and corrupt some minds. Hemant always thinks that my talks are about corrupting the minds around. So I'll try, but given the audience here, it may not succeed. So most of you have seen lots of graphics and pictures about what's happening recently, but I'll start from 19th century. This is about technological unemployment. This fear has been around forever. Every time there is a new technology, there is fear. This is mills being destroyed in England in 19th century, and this has followed. For example, in 1964. Many Nobel laureates wrote to Lyndon Johnson saying that human labor as we know it is dead because of computing technology. And their solution at that time, 1964, was to have universal income. So this question has been around forever. So what's new? Of course, as we know, AI itself has been around for a long time. So what's different this time is perhaps that the modern AI or Gen AI provides a solution to Lange's paradox. And his paradox, as stated here, was that we humans know more than we can tell. So we can do things very efficiently, but we cannot articulate that all the time. And because of that, earlier, for example, rule-based system didn't produce very good AI systems, right? But Gen AI, or you can say the underlying technologies like deep learning underneath Gen AI technologies allow us to discover what you must be thinking when you made a decision, or kind of a mathematical representation of what you might be thinking given the parameters that are available to estimate it, right? So maybe that's what is different. When I started this work, not just with Gen AI, but generally with modern AI, deep learning, and so forth, about 10, 12 years back, the question at that time usually was that, will AI replace the humans? That question is still there, but at least in the academic community, we have kind of come up with a slightly different version of it. A lot of work is going on about collaboration with machines, and I'll talk a little bit about the reason for it. And here the focus is, what should a computer do? What should humans do? How should we work together? So, obvious question is why should we consider even such an arrangement? So, if AI can do everything that a human can do, then there is no need for collaborating with humans. But as we know, there is a jagged frontier of human AI relationship. AI is great at certain things, and humans are great at some other things, at least at this point in time. Whether this situation persists over time or not is an open question, and I know people are on different spectrums, but right now, that's the case that AI is good at certain things, humans are good at certain things, they are good at certain things together, but there is this complementarity. However, this complementarity is not realized most of the time. And it's not realized because human or AI does not know whether they know the answer or not, or whether they can solve this problem or not. Right? This is a critical factor that needs to be considered when we are designing these type of systems. And I'll provide you some evidence of that. This complementarity is also important. Another talk mentioned this study that if you don't have this complementarity and you don't provide input from humans, the Gen AI systems, when they are trained on their own outputs, they degenerate very, very quickly. Right? So in the interest of time, I'll skip that. So the first question, though, when you are doing anything like this, that we started looking at was, can humans effectively work with AI? So most of the studies focus on productivity, things like that, but not many studies actually study what happens to human and why or why not do they work effectively with AI. So most of this, not all, but most of this work has been done in experimental sort of analytical modeling and experimental sort of paradigm. For the experimental setup, we have used image classification because it does not require any training for humans. So humans do it naturally well. AI has become better than humans in the last 5-6 years. But there are still some complementarities. All right. So it turns out the answer is not very simple, how humans and AI could collaborate. In fact, what happens is when AI delegates tasks to humans, humans and AI working together can outperform either humans working alone or when humans delegate to AI. Right? So when AI delegates to humans, performance is the best. Right? That has some interesting implications as we'll think about it. This happens because obviously the benefits come from complementary information, but AI effectively delegates because it knows better than humans its certainty about what its prediction is. Humans don't, and I'll show you evidence of that. Humans struggle with this delegation. Okay, now let me actually first ask you, if I have already shown it, so maybe the first kind of natural reaction most of the academics have to this is, oh, it's because of AI aversion, right? But it's not so, okay? And the evidence of that you can see here. So we gave people information, or people sort of said what their level of certainty is about whether they can properly assign an image to the right category or not, and then what their delegation rates were. So you can see that this is a sort of a very nicely fitting line, more difficult things they delegated. But they were not performing very well, right? So we gave them a delegation strategy that AI was using, right? Once we explain that strategy, you can see that delegation rates improved tremendously, right? So it tells you that people were paying attention, they were delegating properly, especially when you explain things to them. However, the problem is something different. So let me ask you, how many of you have been absolutely certain about something and then found out that you were wrong? Show of hands. Oh, wow. You are very self-aware people. Right? So it turns out that people typically don't know that, right? So this graph essentially shows you, this is the accuracy of humans, how well did they actually identify the category, and this is the assessment of difficulty, right? So if you see around this about 0.7 or 70%, before that, the assessments are random, okay? And after that, you see a pattern, right? So simple things, people can assess that they're difficult or not. More difficult thing, they can't, right? And this is a classic problem of limited meta-knowledge. You know, meta-knowledge is knowing boundaries, or one interpretation of that is knowing boundaries of your own knowledge, right? And that we lack, not only we lack it, but we can't identify that this is a problem, right? All right, so next we said, is that all we have to worry about? Of course not, right? So lots of studies have focused on the fact that AI increased productivity almost instantaneously. However, over-reliance on AI reduces unique human knowledge, and it creates a Borg's effect. What is a Borg's effect? Basically diminishes the diversity of perspectives, and therefore it has all kinds of problems in creativity, innovation, wisdom of crowds, and so forth. So in the interest of time, I'll show you this figure. So here it just shows, I'm not going to focus on this one, but this last line actually shows you what happens when AI does not advise humans all the time. Instead, it observes humans and sees whether humans can take good or bad information, whether they can judge whether an advice is good or bad. And if it can differentiate it, they can differentiate it well, it advises humans more, otherwise it's not. And that performs the best in terms of all the other settings. So this basically, going back to my previous point, when AI allocates work, you get better results, at least in this setting, okay? AI can assess. So now, allocation of work. I'm going to quickly go through this in 2 minutes. And here, our idea was that can we improve performance? Can we go beyond just simply looking at automation? Are there other work arrangements? And how do we leverage this idea of complementarity? So there can be 3 types of benefits that you can think about. Right? There's a substitution benefit where AI replaces humans. There can be augmentation benefit when AI assists humans. And then one thing that has never been talked about, or very rarely talked about, is reallocation benefits. So what if, instead of firing people, we took those extra resources and put them in teams and let them work together, right? So that's what this is about. And just a peek into results, humans alone work, when they work, they produce their productivity, you can think, or accuracy is this. When we work with reallocation, it actually goes to that, right? So how do we do this magic? I'm going to, in the interest of time, skip that. But basically, we have, let's say, original environment where humans are working, and we replace that with, some automation, some augmentation, and then freed up resources go to reallocation, right? If you do that, then through some magic of symbols and equations, we can come up with we can prove certain results and show that there are conditions under which you should automate and conditions under which you should augment. Basically, this is the weight humans put on wrong advice. This is the weight human puts on correct advice. If you take a ratio of that, then you can sort of compute this. And this is computable by the observational data that you can collect on human performance. So we're showing here how we computed it for our setting, but any setting where you can do that, you can do that. So essentially, what does it help you with? So we have two types of complementarities we look at: between task complementarity and then within task complementarity. I won't have time to show you all the results. I'll be happy to send you the paper, which was just accepted in Management Science. But here, basically, it shows when there is low between task complementarity, you get higher benefits from augmentation. That is, humans working with AI. However, when you have high between task complementarity, you get more benefits from humans working alone and automation, right? So there is sort of a difference. So if your between task complementarity is very high, you're doing same type of work, routine work, and so forth, then you'll end up doing less augmentation. So either humans will do certain work and automation. So there are many other results the paper has. I'm going to skip those, but just go to this one, which basically shows that in our setting, in our experimental setting and tasks, the best allocation comes from the fact that AI does easiest of the jobs, and humans without AI. So this is the AI support line, this is augmentation line, and this is humans working in teams. So the best performance comes from when AI does the easy jobs and humans do more difficult jobs in teams. I'll stop here, take any questions that you have. Go ahead.
The sequence matter. I think in one of the slides you had AI first and then humans,
Yeah.
and then some feedback. But then what about the other way? Have you looked at that?
Which way would that be?
Maybe the humans first and then some AI.
Yeah. So we looked at delegation both ways, right? So humans did it, and they decided whether they want to delegate to. And that didn't work out very well because of the limitation of meta-knowledge, right? Humans couldn't decide what to delegate. Or they did delegate a lot when we explained the delegation strategy, but because their assessment was wrong, they delegated wrong things. Right?
So Alok, on that one, right? So I totally understand humans' meta-knowledge sometimes is not, they don't know what they don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how machines are doing better at that, right? Why is the AI delegation humans?
Well, because, yeah.
There's this from, I think, was the personal wrestler, someone who talked about arrogance, and that people who are least knowledgeable are the most confident, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what group you
Yeah.
from. So will your results change?
So,
From high knowledge group who are willing to recognize their own knowledge.
oh, sorry, I had a lot of other slides, obviously. But some people warned me that if I go over 20 minutes, they'll leave the room. So I'm not doing that. So sorry. Here you go. Hemant, to answer your second part of your question, right? These people are not arrogant because, as we explained them the strategy, they started delegating more, right? So the delegation is not a problem. It's the assessment that is the problem, right? So their assessment of level of certainty, whether they know about how to categorize this, is not appropriate, right? And what was the first part of your? So I mean, remember, LLMs, machine learning, any of these algorithms are basically predicting things that they have high confidence in. So you give machine an image, it assesses that the thing that is going to categorize it as whatever has the highest probability, right? So something has 66%. If it has 66% and it knows what accuracy humans have, by and large, it can decide whether it'll do it or it'll give it to humans. And we gave the same heuristic to humans. The AI accuracy is 80%. Use that, right? So, but yeah.
This is very intriguing paper. If we zoom out, so we are stepping into an economy from a 6 to 7 billion humans to humans plus 80 trillion agents. That's going to be a very different economy.
Yeah.
So this one actually trying to map out how to humans work with the agents. So if we implement this in industry, we need to come up with an operating system, basically.
Yeah.
Now, its human operating system is pretty fine-tuned.
Yeah.
For the past 8,000 years, humanity already figured out a way how humans work. Operating system. So if we really want to implement a system for humans plus agents for future economy, what are the major concerns or problems we need to think?
I think the major concern that I have as a researcher is, what if we don't think about it, right? We know that both options of just using AI or using AI always with humans, both are suboptimal, right? Because if you're always using AI with humans, humans will stop thinking. We know that, and our research actually reinforces that result. Theoretically or analytically, we can show that. The thing about it, if we don't think about this new operating environment where we assess the capabilities and put people and machines at the right place, the consequences for both AI development in the future, because it won't get that complementarity from humans, and humans' value in the society, both will suffer. And so I think it's imperative that we think about it. I'm not saying this is the right answer. I'm just showing that there is, under certain circumstances, you can see what alternative designs can work really well, right? And we ought to think about these alternative designs, especially thinking about how do we preserve human knowledge and expertise as it develops. Because if we don't hire people at the low level, they'll never build expertise. If they never build expertise, how are high expertise people going to exploit the knowledge from LLMs, right? It's going to die in a generation or so. So that's the problem. Have I corrupted people enough, Hemant?
Thank you.
Thank you.